Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here coming at you with a brand new Dark Souls 3 video. This would be the 10th in the series. As of now, we have pretty much done everything except for 2 areas. Now, if you haven't defeated Aldrich and Yorm, then this corpse right here won't appear with the keys on it. Sadly, this is Blackhand Gothard, who was helping us from his attire and all that. Sucks. He's a good guy. I liked him. Now, the first thing I recommend doing while you're here is make a beeline straight right here. As you'll see, you'll deal a lot of decent damage to that sorcerer. Do be careful though, as he does like to rain down occasional spells on you and whatnot. So if we come up here over to the left, we can start making our way through. Switch back to our regen ring. Grab a crystal gem if we didn't already have one. Now we can make our way around, grab some items. Come on. Yeah, got you. Now if we come up here, we'll eventually just lead back around to where we're supposed to come from. Whatnot, stuff like that. As you'll see, everybody here has this weird wax on their head. Ooh, kinda hurts. But coming back around up here, grab an item. So for the main thing of what you're going to be doing for the majority of this area is dipping your head in wax like this. That way you don't get cursed from the knowledge. So if you come in here, off to the back, you'll find 2 crystal lizards. One will be running up this specific... As you'll see, the books emit this weird blue hands that will curse you if you're not wearing the wax. That's why we do that. So if you come back here, you'll notice this little lever right here. If you pull that, we'll find a secret hidden room here off to our left. As you'll see right here. Find the witch's locks and power within. So from here we can continue on up the stairs. Destroy all the furniture you can. All of it. Back here you'll find a cheeky little guy waiting next to some Titanite scales. There will be stations to refresh your candle wax. And do note that the guys who actually have their head on fire will actually take more damage, or take less damage from you than normal. We'll get our first shortcut right here, which will lead back down. Just got jizzed on and I'm not happy about it. For some reason I didn't take any damage from that, which is pretty nice. One thing I recommend doing actually is coming back here and climbing up this little ladder, as it'll actually take us to fight the big boy right here and hopefully defeat him in single-handed combat. In doing so, you'll get the crystal scroll, which is very nice. So if we come up here, we'll have all these little thralls. Recommend trying to take them out first. But if we come back here, we can actually find another one just waiting to ambush us. Find some more Titanite scales. And if we come over here, we'll actually get our second little shortcut back around. But before we do that, if we actually come back here to this little hidden wall, do be careful as there is a Pontiff Rider Knight back here. So we're going to do the classic spook up. And then come in for some good damage. Just like that. We'll get the set all together. And then if we come back around here, we'll get a sorcery. Soul Stream. Pretty hidden item. So we can now make our way back. Now do be careful as we have lost our wax. And we are susceptible to taking curse damage. So if we swing around here, we can drop down like so. Can come grab this item. Do be careful of the bookcases. But if we come over here to this little area right here, we can unlock this little secret, which will have a wax pedestal on the other side. We'll grab this ring and a chunk. Like I said, do be careful. And we got a little area to re-dip our head in. Now while you're doing this, you're pretty immune to damage. And we can make our way down. Now do note while you are up here though, there's actually a hidden little switch you can grab right over here. Now at first you might not know what it does, but if you watch right there across from us, you'll see that bookshelf will actually go down. Coming up here over to our left, we're just going to try and simply drop down safely, grab some Titanite scales. And then from here, if you actually roll and land on this area, we can come over here and grab this little hidden item, the Avalon. Pretty nice. Then we'll jump over here, grab this Titanite chunk, and then we'll actually make our way back down and around to grab that secret little item, as it is well worth going and grabbing while we have the chance. So if we come back around, take a right, it'll be right here. This secret little chest over here has a Titanite slab. There's actually quite a few Titanite slabs you can get in this game, and it's pretty nice. One thing I recommend doing while we're back here at the bottom is just re-waxing up. So from here, we're going to make our way all the way back up and around. Now, normally if you haven't defeated the Crystal Sage by now, in the 2 attempts that you have fought him, there will be a third on that main bridge right there, which we're actually going to go back around to now. As you'll see, we'll take our shortcut that we've opened up and head across. There is a knight to our left guarding something. I do not remember what it is, so we'll just cheese this. As coming back here, I believe, is a must. Okay, yeah, we'll eventually come back down to here. So killing him now is actually a good option. So coming across here, this is where the third fight with the Crystal Sage should be. Here we got another area you can drop down onto for a secret little... Hey, I'm watching you. For a secret little crystal lizard right here. So many things, so many secrets in this little area. I promise. They're all worth it. So much backtracking, though. Once again, we've already lost our wax. Such a fruitless effort to do so much stuff. So we're gonna re-wax up. As you'll see that item back there on that balcony, it's another item that you'll just have to loop back around, as the Grand Archives is just a giant set of circles and loops back around to previous areas, making new shortcuts and stuff like that. So now we can finally continue on and go straight, unlocking the first major shortcut, which will be here on our right. So now, instead of having to go through all of what we just did again, you can now just come to this little side shortcut right here, which will actually lead back to the first area, which is right there. Just to the left of those stairs is where the bonfire is that we just came from. So now we can come back up, skip past all of the first half, which we've gotten everything for, and now come back to the second half. While we're here, we're also going to be grabbing the final Estus shard and final undead bone shard while we're here. One thing I do recommend though is once you've gotten the Logan's or Sage's scroll, that you go and give it to Orbeck and buy that from him. While we're over here, come grab this chest. That's pretty secretive. And then we can now be on our merry little way. So coming up over here and around, you'll find this crystal lizard. It's not very hidden. And you'll find a ring back here. The flesh bite ring, which actually reduces the amount of curse that these things inflict upon you. Coming up and around out here, nothing on our right, so we'll come down here to the left. I do believe there is a couple of specific side stuff you can do to drop down onto. So come back here, you can grab this item, fight this big boy who's mad at us. Pretty easy fight, like I've said before. The gargoyles aren't too tough. Trying to remember all the specific areas to drop down onto. Right here below us, as you'll see, there's actually another, what is it? Another hollow gem, in case you don't have one already. You can drop down there and find one. The sad part is you will have to walk all the way back around just to get to here. So if you've been going through like I have, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, as all of the enemies will be defeated. Just gonna reset and heal up. We deal with this guy first, as trying to have these giant gargoyle boys following you is actually quite annoying. So if we come up here, we'll see we have two crystal lizards. We can try and steer this other one down to make it easier for us. Run away! Yeah, I got the cheese on you now, boy. Alright. So from here, you can actually fall back down and around to get back to other previous areas. Don't believe there's anything else on this side. We can see previous areas that we were once at, like right there. It's nice to be able to look back and see where we've come from. So this next area is more or less just going to be a dead sprint, I feel like, for you, as just running around is better than trying to fight through, as you will have two of these gargoyles. So if you just drop down here come inside. We can grab our final undead bone shard that we can grab, of course. I'm going to try and avoid having this guy attack us. Grab an ember. And then if we come around here, we'll be able to get a shortcut back down below, this ladder right here. We're almost done with the archives. Almost done. Grab our final little wax that we'll need. Alright, so from here, I actually honestly recommend just running through this next area and unlocking the final major shortcut, and then coming back to fight these enemies here. As these are 3 tough NPCs, and the fact that they are all aggroed onto you is quite a pain. So if we run in here and run into this elevator right here, we'll be able to grab our biggest shortcut back to a bonfire. As you'll see right here, boom, we're right at the bonfire. There's the entrance, and yeah. So now we can come back. If you want to fight those NPCs, you can, as they'll give you items. They won't give you any sorceries or anything, it's just weapons of that nature. So from here, what I'm going to show you is probably the most successful soul farm in the game, in terms of base game anyways. Well, you guys not. So if we come over here, we'll come down and around. And up here. This is the route I definitely recommend running, as it makes your life a little bit easier. So we come right here, and we'll come about right here. As you'll see, the 3 big boys will fall down. Do note that you do have to do this in a very specific amount of time, as one of them is rotating. You can get backstabs and get good damage. Do be careful though, as they do hit pretty hard, but they give roughly almost 15,000 XP per kill. So then if we swing around here, we'll find our next one, which is got the dual axes. He's a lot easier to fight than the ones with the halberds, as you can bait him in for an attack like that, get a cheeky backstab, come below him, like I said, he can still hurt. For some reason, you can try and backstab him. Now, they can do that specific little attack that they just tried to do, to where he'll do Divine Pillars of Light. But if we come back here, we can now grab our final Estus shard. So now we'll have 2 more trophies added onto our collection. Now, if you want to ignore the last guy, you by all means can. I'm going to try to, but probably not successfully, of course, as he's looking right at me. Yep. Oh well, we'll make do. Close, but not enough. So once you get good enough, you'll be able to easily defeat these 3 guys. Now the first time you do it, you will get a Titanite slab. It's only the one time, it's not a consistent thing. So if we come up here, we'll find this ladder. And we'll find a ring up here. And we'll see our final destination at the end of this video. But for now, what we're going to do is actually drop back down and eventually, come on, if we can find the entrance, come inside right here. As you'll see, that's got a floorboard opened up. Do be careful. Do be careful when you try and drop down. So as you'll see, there's only one path you can take. Come down here into this bird cage that has feathers and stuff. We can find the Divine Pillars of Light. And from here we can come down here. we come back here, we'll find an item, a blessed gem if you don't already have one, and then we can finally drop down. Whew! And we'll find this one guy from Rosaria's Fingers Covenant chilling. I do believe that there's not really anything else that we can get, but we'll come down over here to this ladder, make our way down and grab these couple of chests, which will have some items for us. Twinkling Titanite, and a Divine Blessing if you didn't already have one. And as you'll see from here, we can actually just walk back out onto a previous area, which is pretty cool. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to warp back to the bonfire and then take the elevator back up. Alright, so from here, we've got a lot of souls. We've also reset our Estus, which is good, as we'll need it for this next up-and-coming fight. So do be mindful of that. One thing I definitely always recommend doing while doing that soul farm, as well as it's also good for getting chunks and blessed gems if you're really trying to. So it's best just to send it back down. Now we can come onto the final area. That is not optional, of course. And that is going to be this really long bridge that has a bunch of hollows. And when I mean a bunch, I mean a bunch. As you'll see, there's going to be archers. There's going to be snipers. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. But there is going to be one more actual shortcut. Okay. That hurt. What I recommend is taking out all of these enemies one at a time, or however you can, as getting those blue knight boys to come aggro you on top of other enemies is not fun. But I recommend having it where you fight the one with the sword before the shield and spear boys. Come on. It's supposed to be the toughest. As you'll see, he hurts with his blessed weapon. But so do I with mine. Except mine is blessed. You can farm these enemies for lothric pieces, but you can't get a blue set. That's the thing. It's like the only downside to it. Now, in all honesty, I do just recommend skipping these last few, as they are the most troublesome to fight. So, what we're going to do, instead of going into that big area, is we're actually going to go into a side area on the right here. And get this little shortcut elevator. So, in total in this video, we will actually be getting 3 Titanite slabs. As you see, we already have 2, and we're about to eventually get our 3rd one. So you're probably wondering where this elevator leads to. And that is actually the area where we fought the Dragon Slayer armor just a bit ago. As you'll see, there's his boss arena right there. And we can grab this red tearstone ring. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was blue. My apologies. But now we can come back inside and use our elevator skills to secretly grab the 3rd Titanite slab. This would be a more direct approach, I feel like, to get to the quote-unquote second to last boss of the base game that is not optional for you to have to do. So taking this lift down, reveal a secret area that has a slab. And just like that, boom, we're done. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. We've got a lot of souls on us. A little worrying. But it's okay. It is okay. So now, coming from the Dragon Slayer armor to here, I feel like is much easier than trying to do other stuff and go through that giant long bridge of enemies that just want to hurt you, as doing this will allow you to save your Estus and stuff like that, you know? So there's that. And the cool thing is, you can actually summon a couple of phantoms, I do believe at least one guaranteed, for this boss fight, and that'll be Cirrus, since we helped her out in her cause. So now that we've left the area, the enemies have actually walked down the stairs and will not be a problem for us. Open up this big door. And as you'll see up here, there should be a summon sign right here. Cirrus of the Sunless Realm. This is a boss that I think is actually pretty good. It's not too tough. The second half can be a little bit annoying, but it's not tough. You know, it's just learning the mechanics. Here we have the twin princes. This is a very stamina heavy fight, so make sure that you have plenty of stamina to use. And try and only go for 1 or 2 hits while you can. Being able to draw aggro off of Cirrus is probably the best thing, as she dies pretty quickly in this fight. As you can see, Lorien really likes to teleport around and sometimes delay his attacks, so just be careful of that. Wasn't expecting to get a stagger right there, as you can see. As you can see, he will occasionally do an attack down with his actual legs. Whenever he does this, simply run away, that way you have distance, and then dodge to the side. So I'm going to skip to whenever we do the actual second phase of that fight. Alright, so now once the second phase commences, Lorien will be on Lothric's back, and they will try and, like, use miracles and attacking. Now, in this phase, Lorien will actually have less HP, but the main thing that you're trying to do here is simply just have it where you defeat Lorien and then we'll damage Lothric once that is said and done. As you'll see here, once this happens, Lothric will actually use a Wrath of Gods attack and will be able to hurt you. But once you defeat Lothric, Lorien will also go down too. Now we can do the ultimate GG, good fight. And you'll get the final Cinders of a Lord. Once again, if you have a symbol of avarice, what you could technically do before you get your souls is just wait. put your symbol of avarice on, and then you'll get more souls than intended, which is pretty nice. So we're not officially done yet, as there's one last thing I will talk about and show you how to do that before we actually go into the final quote boss. And so what we're going to do here is from here go back to the Irithil dungeon, and we're going to take a shortcut back down. So from here in the dungeon, we're just going to be running and making our way down. So one thing I definitely recommend doing is following the path that I take. Just ignore the prison wardens. So once you head down here, come back off to this area. Now you want to make sure that you actually have your Path of the Dragon emote equipped. So if you activate the elevator, we can take that down. Just checking. Okay. So what we're doing is unlocking basically one of the 3 side areas that aren't that are optional for beating the game. You don't have to do them, but doing them is necessary to get all of the trophies. So if you come right here and then perform the Path of the Dragon, eventually you will be teleported away. Like so. And we'll end up in the Archdragon Peak. I do advise that you make sure that you are quite comfortable with your gear and setup before coming here, as this area has a bunch of tough enemies that deal a lot of damage and can overwhelm you in a sense. Once you reach Archdragon Peak, though, you will get a trophy just for making it here, which is pretty cool. As you can see, just from that one interaction, there's already half my health gone. But now we can make our way up. And we're just going to grab the first bonfire of this area, and then we're going to be fully done with this video. So if we run around here, you can, if you really want to, just avoid all the enemies and then come over here and grab the bonfire. Like so. So now we can warp back and finally be done with this episode. So this has been Mr. Pilgrim, and I'll see you all in the next video at Firelink Shrine.